Y'all are never gonna guess what happened unless you have been watching the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp trial live. And I don't know, maybe even if you haven't been watching the trial live, but you've been watching the coverage, maybe you'll be like, I was expecting this, because I feel like some people were probably expecting that her legal team was going to do this. I know that Johnny Depp's legal team was expecting it because they were fully prepared to present their case on why this trial should not be dismissed. But I was personally caught off guard as soon as the plaintiff rested, which was Johnny Depp's team basically saying, all right, we're putting it over to the defendant, which is Amber Heard and her witnesses. They went to a break, and when they came back, we had Rottenborn up there presenting his case on why the entire case should be dismissed. I had some restless leg syndrome going on. I was like, what is happening? Now, before I get into this, I am still covering the entirety of week 4. It takes me a little bit to get them done. I had to jump to talk about this because I have some things I want to say. I have some opinions, and I also want to hear your guys' opinions about this as well. So don't worry, we're still going to be doing a coverage of week 4 as usual, the trial highlights that I've been covering in my videos, which if you guys haven't seen any of my other videos on the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial, I'll have the playlist link down below. Make sure you guys click that, and it will take you to all the videos that I've done about it so far, and there's some juicy stuff in there, so definitely make sure that you guys go and check that out. May 3rd, it's a Tuesday. We still had some of Johnny Depp's witnesses left over, but I have been waiting to hear Amber's side of it. I have wanted to hear Amber's side of it. As we know, she fired her PR team last week because she is allegedly unhappy with the bad press that she's been getting, which I think was another strange move considering the press that she's getting isn't what's giving us this opinion that we have on her. We all have this opinion of her because of what we have been watching in this live trial. We are watching it live. We are hearing things as they are said, and that is where our opinions are coming from. But nonetheless, she fired her PR team, apparently thinking that it's gonna do anything in her favor. But anyways, I've had several people question why I haven't been showing her side. It's because it's been nothing but Johnny's side. It was just getting flipped over to Amber's side so her witnesses could testify in favor of Amber. We would get to hear all of the things that they have to say to help her with her case on her claiming to be the victim in this relationship, which has been very hard for many of us to believe at this point because of all of the evidence we've seen where Johnny Depp was the actual victim in this relationship. So many of us have been waiting for her side. So as soon as the plaintiff rested their case and it was put in their hands, I just wasn't expecting Rottenborn to get up there and to start stumbling over his words, giving the reasons why he wanted Johnny Depp's witness testimony to be striked and for the entire case to be dismissed. So I was immediately like, ooh, Amber don't want to get up on the stand.
Court should grant the motion to strike because the undisputed evidence is that he did, in fact, abuse Amber. Now, there's a dispute in this case. There's ample evidence that he physically abused Amber, but we acknowledge that there's a dispute in this case on that. But what there isn't a dispute in this case is non-physical abuse. Both Mr. Depp and his expert Shannon Curry have testified that abuse may come in many forms. It may be physical, certainly, but it may also be verbal, may be emotional, maybe psychological.
They are really pushing towards the we need to prove that the op-ed was written about Johnny Depp, which in my personal opinion, and I'm not, you know, in all that legal stuff, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know how any of that works. I'm just a girl sitting on the floor in the living room. In my personal opinion, with us learning that it was written completely defaming Johnny Depp, very descriptive that it was about him, I think is enough. It was clearly written with the purpose of being at Johnny Depp, and the fact that they're trying to act like it wasn't, coming from this angle of, well, this headline was written by somebody else, she didn't put this headline there. It doesn't matter because it's under her name. Well, it doesn't matter in my opinion, but I'm not, like I said, you know, in the legal world of things, so I don't understand how this stuff works. So as I'm listening to it, I don't know if the points that he's bringing up are enough to get this case dismissed, because I don't understand how any of this works. I just know as, like, you know, a public viewer watching it, that to me, I'm like, there is so much evidence against her her of her lying, of her abusing him, of her writing this op-ed at him, of her doing it timed with perfection towards getting more headlines in favor of her right before her Aquaman movie comes out to make more money off of Johnny Depp again. Like, that's what I was seeing as like a public viewer. So Johnny Depp's team gets up there and they bring their argument to why we should not dismiss this case. And when I tell you, I wanted to jump out of my chair and clap at the points that they were making, bringing up how many times Amber Heard has been caught lying in this case, how many times it's been proven that she is the abuser.
The court should deny defendant Amber Heard's motion to strike because Mr. Depp has come forward in his case in chief with multiple credible witnesses, documents, and authentic tape recordings of Ms. Heard herself, not only satisfying all of the requisite elements of his claim for defamation, including actual malice, but also going the extra mile of showing that Ms. Heard physically abused him. She's the abuser in this courtroom. Ms. Schulman, also of the ACLU, acknowledged that Ms. Heard's op-ed referred to Mr. Depp. It's very clear that the ACLU and Ms. Heard intended, that was the whole purpose of this, so that they could get interest in this and it would coincide with the premiere of Aquaman, because otherwise no one would have been interested in anything written by Ms. Heard. Mr. Doherty also testified that Ms. Heard only paid 1.3, actually she didn't even pay all that, out of the $3.5 million that she had pledged to the ACLU, and then they helped her lie about it. And it's one thing, Your Honor, for her to stiff the ACLU, which frankly played a reprehensible role in this case. It's quite another for her to fail to honor her obligation to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles with sick and dying children. The fact that she put her name on that article means that she is responsible for all of those statements.
I was hoping the judge was going to deny the dismissal, but you just never know. You never know. And all I could think was, oof, the riots that are going to happen. People are going to be pooping in the streets. Dropping big ol' Amber Heard dookie dukes because we want to hear her side. Long story short, the judge did deny the request for dismissal, quickly.
For this motion, I've taken the arguments of counsel, and last night I reviewed all of the evidence that has been submitted in this matter. So as to the second and third alleged defamatory statements, at the motion to strike at this juncture, I view the evidence in the light most favorable to the plaintiff and reasonable inferences from the evidence to the plaintiff. And if there is a scintilla of evidence that a reasonable juror could weigh, then the matter survives a motion to strike. In this matter, there is evidence in the case that a jury could weigh that the statements were made by the defendant, that the statements were about the plaintiff, that the statement was published, that the statement is false, and the defendant made the statement knowing it to be false, or the defendant made it so recklessly as to amount to a willful disregard for the truth. The weight of that evidence is up to the fact finder, so the motion to strike is denied as to statement 2 and 3.
We have listened to Johnny Depp be so honest the past 3 weeks. We have heard things that were private between him and his friends, the text messages that, wasn't any of our business. We've gotten to hear a lot about his past, which again, isn't any of our business. Like, we got to learn a lot about Johnny Depp, a lot of things that, make you feel very vulnerable. I don't like talking about my past, like the things that I've gone through in my personal life, telling thousands of people some of the darkest things that I've gone through, in my childhood, makes you feel so vulnerable. He got up there and spilled it all out. Any bad habit that he had was aired out in front of millions of people. We all know so much more about Johnny Depp than honestly we ever even really deserve to know, because he deserves his privacy. But he wanted us to see all of this at the cost of all of his stuff being aired out. Remember, this is really important to me. Johnny and his team wanted this trial to be live, and they're the reason why it is live. Amber Heard and her team did not want it to be live. Amber Heard did not want us to be seeing any of this unfold live. She wanted us to have no idea what was going on in that courtroom, just like during the UK trial that Johnny Depp had lost. Based on what has come out in the past 3 weeks, based on the fact that they did not want this trial live, based on the fact that she fired her PR team, that she's been caught lying multiple times already, based on the fact that there is admittance of her abusing him. We see photos of her glammed up, looking beautiful as ever with Johnny Depp beside her, looking like the abused husband. And then based on the fact that it's finally her turn to tell her story, to have her witnesses up there defend her, for her to get on the stand and defend herself and sit there in front of the world and say what she's alleging happened to her, to clear her name with all this bad press that she's been getting after the past 3 weeks, they request a dismissal. That tells me Amber Heard does not want to get on the stand. She doesn't want to clear her name. She just wants this to be all dismissed and gone. Why would you want to do that if you just had 3 weeks of your ex-husband getting up there saying lies? Like, if anything that Johnny Depp said up there was not true, and if you have all of this stuff against him that you guys are claiming that you do, wouldn't you want to get up there and share all of that and tell your story and combat everything that was just told about you for the past 3 weeks? It's been made impossible for anybody to believe her at this point. She hired a new PR team because she seems to be aware of that. Wouldn't she want to get up there and give all of this evidence that she supposedly has that's going to clear her name? All I'm saying is that them trying to dismiss this and get Amber out of having to testify and all of her witnesses having to testify shows me that Amber didn't want to get up there and speak. And if I was a victim of domestic violence and my ex-husband just got up there and said a bunch of stuff that wasn't true, I would want to get up there and defend myself. So why wouldn't she want to get up and defend herself? I'm gonna let you guys be the judge of that one. Now, I am gonna wrap this video up here. I just had to talk about this. I had some things I had to say. You guys need to let me know what you think down below. I'll be back with the recap of week 4. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys are enjoying the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp coverage. Check my playlist down below if you guys would like to see my other videos on this. I'll be seeing you guys next week for another one.